Hey everyone, it's Carolyn. Welcome back to Contemporary Mama and another Foodie Friday episode. I know that we are all still struggling with this quarantine, but something that really makes my life a lot easier is using my crock pot to make my family meals. So I know so many people use it to make dinner time a lot less stressful, but your crock pot can really be used for any meal of the day. So today I'm going to be making 3 super easy and delicious crock pot recipes, one for breakfast, one for lunch, and one for dinner. I hope that these recipes make your life a little bit easier and make mealtime less stressful. Let me know in the comments down below which one is your favorite and if you use your crock pot for anything other than dinner. Now let's get cooking. So I'm getting started with breakfast and I'm showing you exactly how I make this slow cooker apple cinnamon oatmeal. So to get started, you're going to want to go ahead and peel your apples. You can use 2 medium-sized apples, but mine are pretty small, so that's why I'm using 4 instead. Now you can slice them or dice them as big or as small as you want. I'm dicing mine pretty tiny so that they're more like bite size. The great thing about this oatmeal is that I am actually preparing it the night before. It's going to cook overnight when you sleep, so when you wake up, you're going to have a warm, delicious breakfast all ready for you. You want to make sure that you generously spray your crock pot so that none of this is going to get really stuck on there. And then just go ahead and add your apples to the bottom of your crock pot. So now we're going to add in some brown sugar and sprinkle that on top of the apples. About a half a cup will be absolutely perfect. Now, it wouldn't be apple cinnamon oatmeal without some cinnamon, so you're going to go ahead and sprinkle a teaspoon of cinnamon on top of the apples and the brown sugar as well. As far as the oats, you can use regular oats, but I'm going to be using steel cut oats because they are a little bit more nutritious. So no matter what kind you use, you're going to want to add 2 cups. So just measure those out and pour them on top of the apples, the brown sugar, and the cinnamon mixture. But you're actually not going to want to stir this up. Just go ahead and dump them right on top. Now that everything is in there, you just need to add 4 cups of water. And again, you're not going to want to stir this mixture. Just pour it on top and let it sit. Your oatmeal is going to cook for 8 to 9 hours on low overnight. And then when you wake up, your house is going to smell incredible. So good. I'm going to just stir this up a little bit and then take some to work. For my slow cooker lunch recipe, I'm going to be making the easiest butternut squash soup. This is so creamy and delicious, and the best part is it only takes 5 ingredients: butternut squash, butter, apples, onion, and chicken broth. So I'm going to get started by rustling my butternut squash. I usually cheat and buy the pre-peeled, pre-cut up ones from the grocery store, but I actually got this in a produce box from my local farms. So I'm just going to go ahead and peel this and then dice it up into about 1-inch cubes. Now it's time to dice up this onion, and to do that, I always put on my ski goggles. My eyes are so sensitive, so I'm just going to give this a rough chop. all that's left is to go ahead and peel your apples. If your apple is pretty big, you could just use one, but mine were really small, so that's why I am using two. So you're gonna go ahead and just heat a skillet over medium heat, add in about a tablespoon of butter, and just go ahead and let that melt. Once it's melted, you can add in your onions. You're just gonna let this go ahead and saute for about 2 minutes, just until they start to soften. Then go ahead, add in your chopped apples, and that's just gonna cook for about 1 more minute. So after a minute, just go ahead and add in 1 more tablespoon of butter along with some salt and some pepper, and just give that a stir, and then you are ready to add everything into your crock pot. So I just sprayed mine down with some spray, added in my apple onion mixture along with all of my chopped butternut squash. And then you're going to top that with 4 cups of chicken broth. Now, if your broth doesn't completely cover your squash, just add in a little more broth or water before placing your lid on. And then you are going to set this for either 4 to 6 hours on high or 6 to 8 hours on low. Now, when it's all done cooking, you can go ahead and just blend this up. It's going to be delicious as is, but I love adding in cinnamon and a little bit of cayenne and a splash of cream to make it extra flavorful and delicious. I think ginger would also be really good in this, or maybe a sprinkle of nutmeg as well. I've done that before. So here I'm just using my immersion blender to blend this up. It is so fast and convenient, but if you don't have one of these, then you could always just blend it in batches in your regular blender. But these are pretty inexpensive. You can get them for like $30. And if you like making soups, I would highly suggest investing in one. So just go ahead and look at that. This was so creamy and flavorful and delicious. And besides that, probably 10 minutes of prep in the beginning, it took almost no effort at all. For my crock-pot dinner recipe, I am making the most delicious and flavorful Greek chicken. So I'm going to get started by just browning the chicken. You can use about 2 pounds of chicken breasts or chicken thighs. I just happen to have chicken thighs on hand. So I just heated up a skillet with some olive oil, and I'm just going to sear that chicken for about 2 minutes. And then after 2 minutes, I'm just going to flip it over and sear it for like another 1 to 2 minutes. Now, of course, you can always skip this step, but it really adds so much flavor when you sear the chicken. And I'm also giving it a little sprinkle of salt and pepper. Now, to go along with it, I have some red onion, some olives, and some artichoke hearts. Now, the original recipe called for Kalamata olives and roasted red peppers, but I just have to use what I have. We're in a quarantine right now. I am not going to the grocery store, so I improvised and it still came out delicious, but I am looking forward to making it with the roasted red peppers because I think that would give it such a sweet, delicious flavor. So once I go ahead and chop up my onion, I also drained those olives and artichokes. I'm just going to go ahead and add everything into my crock pot. I always spray it down, and then I layered the chicken on the bottom, and then on top of that, I sprinkled the onion, the olives, and the artichoke hearts. Now I'm making a little Greek vinaigrette to go along with it. So I just minced up about 3 garlic cloves, and then I added in a teaspoon of thyme and oregano, about 3 tablespoons of red wine vinegar, and a generous squeeze of honey. So I just whisked that up, and then I'm just pouring it all over the chicken and vegetables.
This is going to cook on the low setting for about 4 to 5 hours. My crock pot cooks pretty fast, so I set it for 4 and it was absolutely perfect. This would be delicious over pasta, or even couscous would be a nice Mediterranean vibe. But I actually served it over mashed cauliflower and it was delicious. And then for a little garnish, I'm just sprinkling some feta cheese as well as a nice sprinkle of parsley for a nice pop of green.
Alright, so that's going to be it for this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it, that you found it helpful. Don't forget to leave me a comment letting me know which one of these recipes was your favorite. And as always, if you give any of them a try, make sure that you tag me over on Instagram. I love seeing when you guys make my recipes. So I want to thank you again so much for watching. I'll see you on Tuesday with another brand new video. Take care and bye.